Hello, Canucks fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Canucks Conversation, delivered to you by the great folks at DoorDash.
Ding dong.
Use promo code CONVODD, capital C, capital D's, all one word, CONVODD. That will get you 25% off and free delivery on your first order with the DoorDash app. Does not get much better than that, folks. My name is Dave Quadrelli. I'm joined, as always, by the man who built the place, Chris Faber. Our technical producer is Alex Allard. It's a gloomy day today. Here in Vancouver.
Yeah, Alex is up to his hijinks again here.
I like this. This is a good setup. High above Rogers Arena, this is the Canucks Conversation podcast, and holy smokes, folks, I don't know if you can see it on the camera for those on the live show. It is a blizzard out there. Do you see how fast this snow is moving? I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but I think this is going to be pretty evergreen content for the folks that are on podcast, because we are supposed to get hit with some absolute very wintry weather.
Oh, it's so windy the camera can't even pick it up. The snow is coming down hard. Alex, what's going on with this? I'm on the side of the screen here. What's going on here? I'm over Canada Place or something, I think it's called.
Okay.
What's happening here?
Anyways, I gotta walk in
the damn
that
green screen. I know that Alex in this, look at that. That was a cool transition actually. But the damn green screen back here.
I gotta walk in that snow.
Yeah, like 40 feet.
Oh, whatever. That's enough to blow me over.
Haven't had a sip yet, but my favorite. Oh my, Alex, the damn green screen again.
It's not Alex's
fault. Are you
fault.
Kidding me?
Not Alex's fault.
It's the green can. You can't see it on the stupid YouTube green screen here. My favorite one here. Watermelon flavored. What are they called? War candies? Warheads? Warheads. Yeah. My watermelon You can't even. The damn green screen here.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, you're done. I'm not going to mute your mic. We're not at that level yet, but we have some news to get to. Since we last recorded on Monday, your boy, Vasily Podkolzin and Jack Rathbone, both sent down to the American Hockey League, to the Abbotsford Canucks. Now, you pointed this out very quickly on Twitter, but the Canucks play tonight, Tuesday, and tomorrow, Wednesday, along with a back-to-back this weekend as well. So it's a good opportunity for these guys to get into some games. They don't necessarily have to ride the bus. Who knows how long they'll be down there. It does open up a roster spot. Jack Stadnika's close to returning from injury. He skated on a line with Elias Pettersson and Andrei Kuzmenko. It was an optional skate today. Ilya Mikheyev was the only one that used that option. He's expected to play tonight, so no worries there. But let's talk about Podkolzin and Rathbone. I think we kind of talked about it yesterday about, look, Podkolzin's got to play games. You didn't track KHL Corsi for 4 years for nothing. Like, you want to see the kid playing games. You want to see him developing. He's got to do that somewhere. He needs to get into games, and I think the same can be said for Jack Rathbone. So, not necessarily surprised by the move, but actually, you go first. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Boudreau said it best today. These two need to play. They're young players. He talked about his time here. We'll get right to the quote. He said, young guys need to play. I mean, that's the biggest thing. We love both those guys, but right now when we're playing fairly well, it's no good for Podz or Rathbone to sit in the stands. Boudreau later went on to talk about how this happened in Washington with some players who they had a really good, strong, young group of players, and some players just couldn't make it in the lineup when the team was playing well, right? I think that's the thing. When you find something that works well with this team, you want to stick with it a little bit moving forward. That's kind of where it sits with Podkolzin. It's like, listen, Podkolzin hasn't been good. You could say that. I think I can not happily, but like confidently say that.
Never happily, you'd say.
No,
that.
not no, because like you said, tracked all the Corsi for nothing.
That's right.
Podkolzin, like, he just hasn't been good this year. I think that's pretty safe to say. Like, he hasn't been able to put up points. There was a lot of hope about him having a breakout season. Like, the NHL.com was writing about him. I mean, I remember them using him as like the cover photo for that article that the NHL wrote about, like, players that might break out this season, and the fact that he hasn't, it's been unfortunate. But these, Boudreau said it best. These two young guys, they got to play. They got to play some minutes. Podkolzin's going to get like all situations down there in Abbotsford. They play tonight. They got 2 games. They got a game tonight, game tomorrow. I'll be at the game tomorrow. And then they got 2 games on the weekend as well, Saturday and Sunday. So lots of hockey to play. This is a benefit of having your AHL team just down the road, right? Like,
yeah, we'll see how long it takes you to get to Abbotsford tomorrow.
But I'm saying with the player, it doesn't matter about me. It matters with the players. The players,
well, them too. They're gonna have to deal with Highway 1 traffic.
Don't worry about. They're already out there. They're already out there. Rathbone's probably out on the ice already with the team. He's probably on PP1 right now.
You're gonna have trouble getting Abbotsford tomorrow.
Don't worry about me. I got snow tires and a little Mazda. That thing
doesn't matter.
Mazdas
are good in the snow. You'll be fine. You're gonna be fine in the snow. You don't have a Mazda. What are you talking about?
Or something like that.
You don't even drive a Mazda.
A Nissan?
No, you don't drive a Nissan either.
What do I got?
Don't you have a Hyundai?
That's it. Yeah, Hyundai. And I got a Hyundai something like that. Okay. It's not mine. It's the fiance's car. I used to have a Mazda. I love that little thing. That little Mazda. That thing got from A to B in a second.
It did, and Mazdas are great.
Had a little V6 in it. That thing was fun to drive.
Mazdas are
gave
good
it back
cars.
to my nana.
It's a V6.
Yeah, that thing hauled.
Wow, I didn't know it. It doesn't have a V6. You're out to lunch.
Oh no, she had a V6.
There's no way there's a V6 in that car.
Bet on it, yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to bet on it.
I wouldn't like it in the snow though. I miss the truck in the snow, but I take the Mazda out now, and it's the
Hyundai.
The Hyundai. I take the Hyundai out now. That thing's got snow tires.
You're gonna have trouble.
This car I drive now. She's been from New Brunswick to the Rocky Mountains down here to Vancouver. This thing's been all across Canada. It's got a lot of KMs on it, and it's been all through any terrain. So don't worry about me getting out to Abbotsford tomorrow. That's going to be fine. I'll probably even get someone in the car. They can carpool with me, pay for half the gas. You got cheap gas out in Abbotsford. That's the only thing I'm worried about. I hope I have enough gas to get there.
We will see what you say on Thursday about all this.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll be fine. I'll get there to Abbotsford.
Not to detract from the conversation too much and make it about traffic.
Hey, we're both wearing white shirts too.
I know. It's no EP40 shirt today for either of us.
No,
but
I
our
thought
shirts
about
look good, I think. Although mine probably doesn't look great on the background. Anyways, okay.
Neither does mine. That damn green screen that Alex is. I don't know what he's messing around with now.
Okay, so Podkolzin and Rathbone, all in all, like it's not too controversial.
It's ice time, man. They need it. They need ice time more than anything right now.
We're gonna get to more about the Capitals and Canucks. We should mention that Brendan Batchelor is gonna join the show in about 5 minutes, probably. Maybe a little over that, closer to 10. Brendan Batchelor of Sportsnet 650, your play-by-play guy on your radio dials, folks. All of our guests are brought to you by the great folks at Zephyr Epic. There, you can use promo code Hockey Season, capital H, capital S, all one word, Hockey Season. That will get you $5 off your order at ZephyrEpic.com. ZEPHYR Epic. Check them out on all platforms. We're going to be doing some giveaways soon with our friends over there at Zephyr Epic. You can check them out on their retail location as well in Surrey, locally owned and operated. And of course, online as well. The best part.
There it is again. The best part is the Hitmonchan. I forgot his background's green. So he's now part of this whole green screen thing, Alex. I'm tired of it. I'm absolutely done with the green screen behind. You're right. It isn't Alex's fault. It's the bosses at Nation Network. They were
not
like,
my fault
hey,
either.
you need a green screen. And what do? You get a poster stuck behind you. I can't even hold my damn drink up and show the people my favorite drink. So like this whole green screen thing, I'm done with it.
This was a decision that came directly across my desk. I was the one that made it. I can tell you now.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Yeah. It was we need to figure out a background for Faber. I'm like, get him something that he's gonna hate. You know what's funny? You did get the green screen as soon as you got a green chair too. So half your chair doesn't even show up. Anyways, okay. Let's get into it.
Here's my question with Podkolzin. Here's the thing with Podkolzin. Know what I'd like to see?
Yeah.
I tweeted this out last night as well. Daniil Klimovich, right? He's out there. You know who else is in town? I've seen Donnie and Dahlia were talking about this. Mr. Milstein is in town tonight. So he's out there. He's not here to meet with the Vancouver Canucks. Who's he here to meet with? The Abbotsford Canucks.
Wow.
He is going out to have a conversation with the people out there in Abbotsford.
Kicking
his
down the
client, Daniil Klimovich.
Yeah.
Tell me this doesn't make 1,000,000% sense. Klimovich, he never gets any opportunities in the top 6. Okay. One game last season, he was lined up in the top 6. All this season, nothing. No sniff of the top 6. He had one game where the last 10 minutes of the third period saw him in a top line role because Linus Karlsson wasn't playing great. Why not make this the week where you let it sink or swim with Daniil Klimovich? It's 1 week. Okay. Podkolzin's not going to be down here for 3-4 weeks down the AHL. He's going to be back.
Yeah.
I think he's only down there because they're playing back-to-backs today and tomorrow, and then also on the weekend. I think after that, you're probably going to see Podkolzin back up here, depending on what happens with Tanner Pearson, another player. Like, I'm sorry, I don't think Jack Studnicka is going to be outplaying what Vasily Podkolzin can
or
bring.
Hoglander.
I don't think it's going to happen.
And sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I like what you're saying. But does Klimovich even stay in the lineup if Podkolzin's down there?
I'll tell you what, with Milstein coming around, I bet he does. I bet that his agent comes and says something. Talk about this development plan they got for him.
Well, Milstein said that he was happy with the development plan. So
Yeah, well,
Maybe he's just
interesting.
coming to touch base.
Yeah, cool that he's happy about it, but he also flies over here from his beautiful spot in Miami to come to this snowfall warning.
Isn't he in Michigan?
Oh, he's
all over the place.
He's mostly in Miami from what I see. I know
Mm.
Milstein likes his Miami, but he's here now to back his boy Klimovich, get him in the lineup. I tell you what, this is the time. Like, I just think it's time. Like, yeah, Klimovich doesn't look good in a fourth line role in the AHL. Maybe he looks better with good players. Maybe he is just a passenger, right? Because I think he's got a lot of skill. It's fine to be a passenger if you want to be that as a player, right? Like, not every guy's going to drive a line. Podkolzin drives a line. I would love to see just what it looks like. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes a night, like playing on the power play, playing on the penalty kill with Klimovich. Just let's see what he looks like with Podkolzin. Like, why not? Like, what are you losing in Podkolzin's game making him play with Klimovich? You have so much to gain here to see what it looks like. Like, put him up there with I wrote Lane Peterson as well. He could be the center on that line. He's
leading goal scorer of the Abbotsford Canucks.
Yeah, he's scoring a lot of goals out there in Abbotsford. Like, put these three together. Just let him sink or swim. Whatever.
Okay,
he might sink, but he's not going to sink that bad playing with Podkolzin. I just think it's a real good chance to, like, let him showcase it. Let him just get this opportunity, get that open ice, take those good shots. Like, like I said in the tweet, let him cook. Let Klimovich cook, baby.
Further to this, Danilo Klimovich, along with the other Russians on the team, Podkolzin, Mikheyev, Kuzmenko, and Silovs is even there because he speaks Russian. They were all hanging out a lot together. That group right there, they were hanging out a lot before the season started.
Summer skates, yeah.
When the skates were out at 8 rinks in Burnaby, they were just sharing a Jeep. Remember, we had the whole thing trying to guess who was driving the car, who's driving the whip.
You're listening to this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
I seen a picture, I think.
Yeah, we did actually. We did see a picture.
I think I saw
of it.
that, yeah.
Regardless, what I'm trying to say here is that those two are close, and even if he doesn't play with them, I'm totally with you. I would like to see Podkolzin play with Klimovich. Podkolzin is going to be a positive influence on Klimovich for those few days he's down there, right?
Yeah.
The impact isn't going to be huge. Obviously, he's only down there for a week. I'm not trying to make something out of nothing. But what I'm saying is that, we talk about Danilo Klimovich's issues, and again, you've talked about the, getting hit with a clean hit and then turning around and slashing the player that hits him. That's the kind of thing that Podkolzin can kind of say, like, hey, you can't do this.
I'm just curious to see what he looks like. Like, what would Klimovich look like just with Podkolzin around on his line on the ice at the same time? Does he have the same mannerisms? I don't think so. I think
it's a positive influence.
I think he looks at Podkolzin and is like, hey, this is a guy who was, captain of Russia's World Junior team, has made the transition from the basically top organization, the KHL at SKA, to making, a good rookie season. And obviously things haven't gone his way so far this year, but like, I would think that there'd be some influence there from Podkolzin if Klimovich plays with him, or even just gets in the lineup. And I tell you, Dan Milstein's out there. He's going to be out in Abbotsford. I'm going to run into him tomorrow. So I'll talk to Milstein tomorrow, person to person.
That'll be interesting.
Speaking of person to person, let's get to another person here on the show. Brandon Batchelor joining us here now from Sportsnet 650. You hear him as the radio voice of the Vancouver Canucks. Batch.
He's got his headset on.
Yeah, he's ready to go. He's not going to take that off for another 6 hours.
Yeah, it's a professional setup. Absolutely. Got the headset on, ready to roll. How's it going?
Well, I'm doing good. I'm just glad you don't have a green screen behind you because you pull out a green energy drink here and they can't. I don't know what the heck my producer Alex has got me in a bind here. But Batch, good to get you on the show today, man. Canucks get back home tonight against the Washington Capitals. But hey, quickly, we were just touching on it there a little bit with Podkolzin. What do you think Podkolzin and Rathbone can gain from this AHL stint that we're going to see up the upcoming at least few days, maybe weeks? We'll see what happens with these guys. What can those two players gain from a trip down to Abbotsford?
Yeah, well, I think it's a different conversation for each player. So let's start with Rathbone, who just hasn't been playing. He's got to play games, right? Like Podkolzin, I know had been scratched, obviously had the facial injury after the fight in Boston. So hadn't as much lately, but Rathbone's played, 6 games for the Canucks this year? So he was a guy that they needed to just get into games again. And I've sort of been thinking it for a number of weeks now that they needed to send him down. And I'm a little surprised they took this long to get him down there to get some games in. But that's going to be important for him as a guy that doesn't have a ton of pro experience over the last few years, in large part because of the pandemic and the injuries he faced last year too. So just get him playing games, get him feeling confident. For Podkolzin, I think it's probably a confidence thing too. In terms of whether it's like a quick turnaround and a guy gets recalled, I think that's more likely to happen for Podkolzin than it is for Rathbone. But that said, injury issues can change things, at any time. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Canucks navigate getting some of these forwards back, because Studnicka was back at the morning skate today. Pearson, you have to imagine, can't be too far off a return to the lineup. So they are going to have some roster decisions here. And at the end of the day, Podkolzin hasn't been in the lineup. The team has and he's one of those guys that doesn't need waivers to go down to Abbotsford. So for a lot of reasons, it makes sense, but hopefully he can regain some confidence after a bit of a slow start to the year offensively to go down there and put up some numbers and start feeling good about his game again.
Batch, Spencer Martin gets to start tonight. Just your overall thoughts on the goaltending situation right now. Do we have a controversy? I was going back and forth with Rob, Daily Hive Rob, before the show. He thinks there's a controversy. I don't call it a controversy, but your thoughts on the goaltending situation right now?
If it's a controversy, it's a mini controversy, because I don't think anybody's going to debate, the future of the crease in the long term for this organization. But in the short term, I think it's clear that Bruce Boudreau feels that Spencer Martin gives him the best chance to win right now in this moment. And this is a team that needs wins and a head coach that needs wins in the final year of his contract now. So that's sort of how I analyze this is, this is Boudreau saying, I trust Spencer Martin. He's done everything that I've asked of him. He's won all but one game when he's gone into the crease since he arrived in Vancouver, at least in terms of regulation losses anyway. So Boudreau trusts him. He's going to go back to him. And, the way he did after the morning skate today was, just because Demko has a good game or a couple of good games doesn't mean they're going to give him 7 or 8 straight starts. They want to work him in slowly. So, he gets a game, they give him a game off. Maybe next time he has a good start, he gets 2 in a row, then 3 in a row, and kind of, build his confidence up that way, which to a certain extent makes sense. Although I'm kind of the mind that, your franchise goaltender, you probably want him to play his way through it a little bit. But, at the same time, some healthy competition probably isn't a bad thing for this organization. That Spencer Martin is taking some of those starts away from Thatcher Demko now, I'm sure is going to be a motivating factor for Demko to get him back in order here and retake control of the crease. So internal competition, we talk about it all the time. It's a huge talking point at training camp every year, but to have it in the crease. And after what we've seen over the last couple of years with Braden Holtby and Jarro Halak and backup goaltenders that weren't pushing Demko at all, it's a nice problem to have if you've got, a backup goaltender that isn't making much against the cap, that is coming in and, stealing starts from your starting goaltender, because in the long run, that means Demko's not going to play as much. And if you do find a way to battle back to any sort of playoff conversation, then Demko won't have played as much early in the year and might be rested if they need to rely on him down the stretch late in the season.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, we saw what happened last year, how many games, Demko had to get into. Once he finds his game, yeah, you're right. This is going to be kind of a lighter load, at least for the rest of the season. I'm curious to get your thoughts, and I could, we could hear it today in the media that we were doing, and some of the questions about the Vancouver Canucks turning the corner. I'm not going to ask you if you think they've turned the corner and turned the page on what the start of the season was, but what are you seeing, let's say, over these last 6 games where they've won 5 of the 6 games, obviously that 3-game win streak on the road? What are you seeing that's different and maybe improved from what we saw earlier in the season with all the losses?
The biggest thing for me is they look tighter defensively. And, we're never going to sit here and talk about the Canucks as being an elite defensive team or a team that really locks games down. We know they've got flaws in the way their roster's built and the way their back end is built in particular. So, are they suddenly going to turn into a team that doesn't give up any goals or goes 5 straight games giving up 1 goal or fewer? No, that's not who the Vancouver Canucks are. Lucky for them, they've got one of the better offenses in the league, at least to start this year, although we could debate how sustainable that's going to be down the stretch. That has allowed them to win some games here, but things haven't looked quite as loose in the defensive zone. I think Ethan Bear has really come into his own and helped Slings in the top 4 on the right side. I like the fact that Kyle Burrows is back in the lineup and seems to be there consistently, even though he's the right shot playing on the left side. So, those are all things that are encouraging. And the fact that they've gotten some timely saves too, whether it be Demko Martin. I think you look back at the game in Vegas on the road trip, and as much as the Canucks dominated that game, Vegas had 2 or 3 good scoring chances right at the start of the game. But they got the saves they needed. They were able to play their way through it. They got an early power play, they score, and then they were able to build off that and create momentum. So, it's never going to be perfect defensively, but I think it's looked better. And then they've had some timely saves at times they need them in games that allows them to get wins and get confidence. And then I couldn't have this conversation without talking about the Pettersson line with Mikheyev and Kuzmenko, who to me really feel like they've taken their game to another level in the last couple of weeks.
Couple players you mentioned there, obviously on PP1. We're starting to see, like, I think the players have kind of even talked about this a little bit, seeing the power play evolve a little bit. Like, it felt like for a while there, it was just the Pettersson one timer. Then we saw like the downhill JT Miller shot be added. Then it really just felt like everything was about Horvat and the bumper. Now you're seeing Kuzmenko as the net front. You're seeing Besser in that spot. Like, it feels like the only thing they're missing right now is like Quinn Hughes having a deadly shot to have 5 different viable, efficient options to score goals. Are you seeing like an evolution with the power play, and like how different is it from this year to maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the execution or some of the things you're talking about, it's not a lot different, right? Like they've got the Horvat one-timer from the bumper. They can either feed him from the half wall with Miller or the down low play with Kuzmenko or front. They've got the Pettersson shot. They've got the Miller shot downhill, which I agree we've seen more often this year, but it's also not the first time that Jellers tried to create offense from those situations. And these are just guys that have now played on the power play together for a number of years. So they look more confident. They understand, what's going to be available to them, where other guys on the ice are going to be. And it allows them to rip penalty kills apart where, if Miller's got the puck on the left wing wall, the penalty kill kind of has to decide, are they going to defend against his shot, or are they going to be worried about the fact that he plays it across the slot to Pettersson for a one-timer from the other side? So if, they cheat to cover the pass, then Miller has a shooting opportunity. We've seen him score from that opportunity quite a lot of times this year. If they cheat towards the shot because they're worried about Miller scoring, then he has an option either to, fire it through the seam to Pettersson on the right wing, or potentially find Horvat for the one-time look there as well. There's also the play where they go from Miller to the side of the net to either Kuzmenko or Besser, and then bat in the slot, and that's created some offense for them too. So you're right, in terms of the way they can hurt you on the power play, it does feel like they're really evolving into a man advantage that isn't just the one play. Like, for example, we'll see the Capitals come in tonight. Alex Ovechkin's getting his shot from the top of the left circle, but he's such an elite player that he's probably going to score anyway, even when you're trying to defend it. The Canucks, they can hurt a variety of different ways. And if Hughes can really develop his shot to be a legitimate scoring threat from the point, then that's going to make it just much more difficult to defend against. And, one thing that could be encouraging in that regard is the number of goals that Horvat has scored on T-directs this year, because if Quinn Hughes can find an effective way to get the puck to the net from the top of the point, then Horvat's a guy there that can tip it. Besser's capable of deflections. Kuzmenko's scored a lot of tip goals this year too. And this is a power play that obviously right now they're really clicking, and at times they've been a bit streaky where they're in and out. But it kind of does feel like a real evolution to see that this could be a power play that, isn't just a good power play or an above average power play, but it's one of the elite power plays in the NHL.
Yeah, at times that certainly looks like it for sure. Batch, one of the coolest things I have to imagine about your job is getting an opportunity to call big goals from players that you probably grew up loving, or before your time in the NHL calling games. I'm sure Ovechkin is one of those guys. What's it like for you to call an Ovechkin goal call in the NHL? I'm sure that's a pretty surreal feeling if I told you that maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And, whether it's Ovechkin or Crosby or even Daniel and Henrik, when they were still playing for this team, I came in their last year, so got a chance to call plenty of their goals, including that overtime winner against the Coyotes. That's kind of what I was imagining when I was growing up, wanting to get into this line of work is, talking about being able to call an Alex Ovechkin goal, or playing the NHL video game and calling an Alex Ovechkin goal, doing play-by-play while playing it. The fact that I get to do it now is pretty cool. Not something I take for granted. And, when some of these veteran players come through Vancouver, whether it's Ovechkin, whether it's Crosby, and you sort of realize that these guys are nearing the end of their careers, and the next few years, maybe last chance I have to call goals of guys who I kind of grew up watching, it's something that, you treasure even more. and it'll be cool to see Ovechkin come in tonight. And I understand that he, I believe, can tie Wayne Gretzky for the most road goals in NHL history if he scores tonight. And the way he plays against Bruce Boudreau, he's probably going to get one. So that'll be a cool moment to score in this game tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to imagine he beats the record tonight, the way that things go against Boudreau with Ovechkin. Batch, we got one comment here. They say, next time, close the window. You don't need that puffy jacket for the next time you join the show.
The window's closed, but it's still pretty chilly in here. I'm at the Sportsnet offices downtown, so I don't know if they don't have the heat on here or whatever, but it's cold, so I'm keeping warm.
I'll tell you what, that was the opposite when you and I were in the studio.
Oh
down
my
at
gosh, that was the
650.
sauna.
We were sweating in there all the time in the studio. So glad you got it cool over there. Batch, we're also told to watch out for you in the corners in a beer league. Apparently, you like to throw it around in the corners, it says here.
Well, you got to stand up for yourself, right? You know, you can't be like Austin Matthews, where you have to have your teammates fight your battles for you. You've got to fight your battles for yourself. So I'll throw an elbow if I have to.
Love it. Enforcer Batch joining us here. Appreciate it, Batch. Have a good call tonight, man. Thanks for taking the time today.
Thanks for having me, guys. Anytime.
You betcha. There he is. Brendan Batchelor, voice of the Vancouver Canucks
Can
on
I just
Sportsnet
say,
650.
Can I just say,
yeah,
when he was describing the Canucks power play looks,
Mhm.
those are sounding more and more like goal calls. Like when he's like Patterson slides it to the right wing to the side. And I was like, oh wow, this is perfect. Like he's doing a goal call as he's just describing plays, and I guess that's literally all play by play is. It was chills. I tell you what.
Have you ever done play by play? Have you ever done that?
So
I feel like we've talked about this. You would be a play by play. I'd be the color guy.
Yeah,
right?
if we ever we've thought about it. We've
Mhm.
thought about doing it, and we would do it together. The play by play color, we would do that well. And yeah, I would do play by play. You would do color. I've never done it professionally. I've never done it for like
ever. Have you ever done it?
No,
really?
I've done exactly what Batch is saying. I used to do it as a kid because I thought that's what I wanted to be. I thought I wanted to be a play-by-play guy. So I would put the game, you put NHL on hard mode or whatever, two computers face each other, and I would just watch and then record it. Myself doing
two
play-by-play.
computers face each other. What are we talking about?
Yeah, what do you mean? You don't play while you do play-by-play. I watch the game and do play-by-play.
Why do you need two computers?
What are you talking about?
You just said two. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about actual computers.
No.
I see what you're saying.
Computers.
Two of the computer players.
Jeez, how old are you?
I don't know.
I'm talking to Dollywall over here.
You got your two monitors beside each other. So what's that going to help? What do you need? Two angles? I get what you're saying now. Okay.
Yeah, do you?
Two computers.
Yeah, I was going to say, for a guy who plays...
Well, say two CPUs against each other. That's what I would have said. Two CPUs.
What do you think CPU stands for, my friend?
It would have been hard. I wouldn't have thought it was computer.
Okay.
The users.
Our thanks again to Brendan Batchelor. Remember to use promo code Hockey Season, capital H, capital S, at
Pick yourself up.
ZephyrEpic.com
They got Pokemons on there too.
for $5 off your order. Okay, let's quickly get to it before we get out of here. The Capitals Canucks. Obviously, I know people are going to be listening to this after the game, so we're not going to talk about it too much. But the one thing that I want to talk about, instead of previewing the game, they're going with Spencer Martin tonight, and you're seeing the takes. Daily Hive's already got an article, and I was joking around with Rob Williams before the show started, just about him calling it a controversy. I don't think it's controversy.
See, Sam Wilson's in the chat says, I heard it the same way too. Thought it was two computers facing each other. That's what I'm saying. You said it weird.
I don't know how old Sam is, but he's probably older than you.
He's young. He's holding up a German Shepherd in his photo. You can't be, 60 years old holding up a German Shepherd. Those are big dogs.
Say he was 60.
He might. Well,
anyways, okay.
He's a young guy too.
Okay. Anyways, I don't think it's controversy with Spencer Martin and Thatcher Demko.
Or the two computer controversy over here.
I think when it becomes a controversy is when Spencer Martin's taking starts away from Thatcher Demko, and Thatcher Demko's in the media, or internally Thatcher Demko's saying, I should be starting, or Thatcher Demko himself has some sort of problem with it.
Sure.
I think
I don't think he can be happy about this.
It's not
though.
sure, but it's not
so.
It's not Schneider Luongo levels, which is fine. Like, it's not at that level yet, but it's not yet a controversy, because all it is look, Demko knows he's not playing that great right now, right? Spencer Martin's getting them wins. You want your starting goaltender to figure it out. And I think the way the Canucks are handling this is perfect in my eyes. And I'll read the quote from Bruce Boudreau. I included it in today's scenes from Morning Skate. Basically what Bruce Boudreau said when he was talking about this decision, he said, the whole idea is not all of a sudden Martin plays a couple of good games, then give him 8 in a row. Spencer's been really good, but you want to bring it up a little slower for Thatcher. And then the next time he might start 2 in a row. And then it'll gradually get back to where he's the guy if he continues to play the way he's been playing. but you can't deny that Spencer's been great every time we've touched wood, every time that we've put him out there.
You know, it's funny when he said that, Woodley looked at me because I was like, Woodley, don't touch Woodley.
Okay.
I poked him in the back. When he
Okay.
said
Anyways, and yeah, he just basically what Boudreaux said is you can't really deny that Martin's been absolutely fantastic for us.
3 in the last 4. Man, I know there's one back-to-back in there, right? So that's going to be split for sure for Demko's game. But if there's not a back-to-back, are we seeing Demko play, or are we seeing Spencer Martin like 4 starts in a row? Right? Like, because that's the way the decisions have been made recently. I get what you're saying is not a controversy. I really don't. I don't think like there's any controversy about the long-time starter 2 years from now. But right now, if you're talking about who's going into the crease, absolutely, controversy is not the right word for it. But
yeah, exactly.
There is a decision that's being made right now to play Spencer Martin over Thatcher Demko. Call that a controversy. Call that a battle. Call that whatever you want. Spencer Martin's going to be in the crease tonight. Thatcher Demko is going to be on the bench when he didn't play in the last game.
Which isn't controversial.
Or he did play the last game.
That's not controversial to me. It's not. They're dealing with this the way I would expect them to.
Batch brought up a good point too. Like, hey, if Demko finds his game here, these extra nights off probably help him in the long run too.
Exactly.
I thought that was a good point from Batch.
I have no problem with them doing it the way they are. Like, what do you want? You want them to trot out Demko so he can play worse than Martin night after night?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, here's the thing.
He's playing better. Spencer's earned these starts. That's what I'm saying.
Martin's played well. But I've been saying this for a while that I think people might be putting a little too much into the wins that Martin's getting. Again,
he's getting good team play.
He's getting good play in front of him. He's been good when he's needed to be. Against Vegas, they were pouring it on early and Martin was fantastic. I'm not trying to take anything away from Martin, but this idea that he's been all world, or you know what? The idea that he's even played as well as Demko did last year, I don't buy that. Demko last year was better than what Martin is right now. And I don't think that until Martin gets to a level like that, where we're looking at, he's stealing them games on a night-to-night basis. Like, you have to stick with them, and Demko's been horrible. That's not the case right now. Martin's gotten the results. That's
the difference. When Demko's at his best, he is stealing you games. When Martin's at his best, he's winning you games.
He's stolen a couple, but
last season I don't think he's really done it this year.
I think he's stolen 1 or 2 this year.
He had a good game against Vegas, right, on Saturday night. That was a good game, but it's not like he stole it. I don't think he's stolen a game this year. I think he's won games. Like, he hasn't. To me, like, remember we had this debate a couple years ago when we talked about the MVP. You and I did, which is wild that we've been debating things for 2 years. Well, most of the time we don't debate that hard. But you're wrong here. This situation here with the goalies, I mean, like I said, I look at it more as like battling for starts. And right now, Spencer Martin is giving you the production that you want. You want to see wins. You're getting that from him right now. And Marcus brings up a good point here. And I think this is what it is. Like, it's not a controversy. That's what I see that word thrown around. That's not it. Marcus has it perfect right here. Internal competition is a good thing. And that's what you're seeing. Internal competition right now. What are you doing? You're over on TikTok again.
I'm taking a video of the snow. It's crazy. Sorry.
What was the double tap there then that I just saw?
There was no double tap.
Double tap. Yeah,
what
right.
do you mean?
Pull up the freaking cloud bubble.
I'm listening. I was listening and you just interrupted yourself for no reason.
No, you were interrupting me with you drew me away from it there. But good.
No, you're right. Like, you're right. I mean, you look at this situation, I don't think
James also has a good point. Hard to steal a game when they put up 4 or 5 goals a night.
Exactly.
And that's true. And that's the thing right now.
And you know what? Someone in the Canucks Army comment section actually brought this up, and it was a good point.
Someone in the Canucks Army section had a good point?
They make good points.
Not the ones I'm reading in there.
Whatever. You be nice.
Some people.
Someone brought up a good point when I brought up that, hey, well, Martin gets a lot better production in front of him, right? And he's like, well, that could also be because the team feels more confident right now playing in front of Martin. Very possible.
Spencer Martin still is. It's not like he's facing less high danger chances, right? I feel like it's pretty close with him and Demko with what they're facing, right? Like, I do think that, like, he's still, there's a lot of times where you're watching Spencer Martin in net and you're like, holy cow, look at these grade A chances that they're getting up against him here. So I don't think it's just, I think the team is playing just like they're putting up the goals obviously in front of them, but at the same time, like, I haven't looked at Spencer Martin's stats lately, but I feel like his goals against is still over 3, right?
Yeah.
It's not like he's under 3 and that's like he's absolutely stealing the job. That's why I don't, you know what? If Spencer Martin was like 930 save percentage and like 2.2, we'd have a goalie controversy because he should be starting every single night. But because he's not, he's getting the wins, and I think that's why he's going into the lineup tonight.
And it's not a bad thing. People want it to be this controversy. People want it to be something that we get to talk about. It's not a controversy yet.
Every single player in that locker room, goalie, player, defenseman, coach, they like wins. Okay. So right now, if Spencer Martin's getting you wins, I don't think Thatcher Demko's going to hate that. He's got a 5-year contract that he's working with. He's fine. He's chilling. He's good. He probably knows he's going to be starting games here pretty soon once he finds it out.
Yeah, it's a nice internal competition. It's not a controversy yet. Okay. Yet. Comments. A lot of people in the live chat jumping in here. Marcus Toes said it's not like Eddie Lack playing the Heritage game over Luongo controversy. And yeah, it's not. It's not there yet. You know where we would get controversial? Canucks make the playoffs.
Okay.
Martin starts 50 games. Demko starts whatever on the season.
32.
32. Okay. And then game 1 of the playoffs, they start Martin. That's when you can call it a controversy. It's not a controversy yet. They're letting Demko figure it out. Demko's going to figure it out. Like, Demko's going to figure it out. And again, I'm not trying to sound pessimistic, but I don't think Martin's going to, sustain this, never losing games thing that he's got going on for him right now.
Sure, but he also played really good last year, and he's not playing like that this year, and he's still getting the wins. Like,
yeah,
I think he's battling
making
for the win.
saves. He's making saves when it matters. He's a good goaltender.
That's a good point.
Don't get me wrong. He's a good goaltender. I like Spencer Martin a lot. He's a great guy to talk to. Yeah, I'm not trying to take anything away from Spencer Martin. I'm just saying these folks that are jumping out and saying, well, he started 3 of the last 4. He's the starter now. This is controversial. It's not there yet. It's just not.
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I tell you what, though. Watch what happens over the next 2 weeks here.
Sure.
There's not I think there's one back-to-back. Alex might have this, the December schedule. I got that somewhere in the work folder there.
Well,
the December schedule here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's only one back-to-back this month. Like, I feel like it's a pretty home-heavy.
Yeah, it is.
Easier schedule, I think, this month for them. So it'll be interesting to see how many starts he ends up getting in December. Like, listen, you're going into December with him starting 3 of the last 4. The only game he didn't start was a back-to-back. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. And I found Boudreau's comments a little interesting, how he was like, we don't want to just go right back to Demko for 2 in a row. I'm like, well, that's not asking a lot to go back to your starting goaltender for back-to-back games with the day off in between. Like, I get it. Maybe the travel day, you want to go to the guy who played on Saturday, got Sunday and
They're going to
Monday
split
off.
starts.
I just don't know.
They're going to split starts now. Like, that's what we're heading toward. And that's not controversial.
No, and Sam's got a good point. Martin
yet.
will have a way shorter leash. He will.
Exactly.
That's a thing.
Exactly.
You will have a shorter leash.
Yeah.
Comment section's good today. Yeah. I don't know what they're yelling about here. I'm not. Well, I am a little feisty today, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you are feisty.
Well, it's been a busy day. I've been back.
I'm gonna have to write you up.
I was up 6 a.m. texting GMs from Sweden. I've been up, and I went to the gym this morning. So I should be relaxed. I don't have to go to the gym. Normally I go after.
Canucks YouTube.
But by the way, one more day. One more workout, Quads.
I'm proud of you.
I have worked out every day this month tomorrow, and I might do it before the show so I can celebrate on the show.
I'm proud of you.
What am I going to celebrate with? Not going to the gym on December 1st. That's for damn sure.
The Canucks Army YouTube channel is over 100 subscribers now.
No way.
Really excited about that.
Well, you tell your buddies over there at the tabletop penthouse, whatever you guys are living at, top floor with Boudreau here. You guys get this green screen out of here, first thing. And then second thing, let's get the live stream over there. I know people want to get on there, and they're tired of these oily boys, all this stuff here. Oily boy this, oily boy that. We're done with that stuff.
Subscribe to the Canucks Army YouTube channel if you haven't already. Podcast listeners, everybody subscribe to it. All of our clips are posted there. We're starting to get picked up by the YouTube algorithm, which is awesome.
Blow me up here. We had a meeting this morning, and I tried to make this my background here, but it didn't work out. Alex, blow me up. Yep, here we go. This is what I tried to get for my background. Behind me on the green screen, but I couldn't figure out the damn green screen.
You need Alex to be your producer for meetings.
Yeah, I need Alex to produce my the morning meetings for me.
For the podcast listeners, it's a Canucks Army with a greater than sign pointing to Oilers Nation.
Yeah, and I wrote woo on the bottom. So I tried to get that going today in the meeting, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. I did it, and then it was backwards, and then it looked like Oilers Nation was doing, but I don't know what was happening. So,
okay. All right.
I'm not a green screen guy. I hate the green. What was that, Alex?
They didn't go for that beautiful graphic you just put up?
No, I mean, I do all the graphics here before. This one was quickly before the show had started. They didn't listen to it. It didn't work. So.
Okay. I got to get out of here. This blizzard, it's crazy. I got to get home. Alex, cut to camera 3. No. But Chris, start us with
it's getting better. This is what I wanted. I wanted the show to grow some snow.
Don't start with me. You get going on the Betway wrap up. I might even leave before the show's over.
I got the prospect thing to get to first here.
Hurry up.
Train rails. You be careful. You're be there in 4 minutes. That train's gonna be going so fast. Not gonna have any breaks. Prospects first. I got prospects to talk about. Jonathan Lecaramaki. I wrote about it today at Canucks Army. Talked to the GM. He is in concussion protocol. So that hit that we saw the other day. Actually, I don't even know if I showed the hit. I don't know if people want to see. He took a shoulder right to the head. It's in the article. Check it out. Canucks Army right now. I wrote that this morning. As I said, texting GMs at 5 a.m. and 5:45 in the morning. Ding, ding, ding. Freaking, what are you doing? Sleeping, counting your money, sleeping on your pillow. And so I did that. Lekkerimäki is going to be, I'm worried because 2 weeks from now, so December 14th is when Sweden's World Junior Camp kicks off. You're on TikTok. They kick off on the 14th of December to get ready for the World Juniors. They're going to be in Canada for that camp. So there's going to be some travel time in the days prior to the 14th. He's in concussion protocol right now. I don't know. Like I feel like, 10 years ago, concussion protocol meant you're out for a week, right? Then you're back on the ice. I don't think it means the same thing anymore. I think there is actually some precaution going to be taken here with head injuries like this situation with Lekkerimäki's in. I don't know what his status is for the World Juniors right now. That was a bad hit that he took to the head. He didn't look good after. You can see the whole video on Canucks Army, by the way. Check out that article about Lekkerimäki. So not a good situation. World Juniors are only, I think, less than a month away right now. And like I said, camp's just over 2 weeks away. So tough situation. He's going to have to travel in 2 weeks. I don't know if he's going to be playing or not, the World Juniors. I hope he is, because that would be good to have a good tournament, but he'd be coming off a concussion. So that'd be tough. Tough situation.
Okay, Betway wrap up. Let's get to it. Our friends over at Betway.
No. Elias Pettersson, DPD. Bring it up. DPD here. So he played his highest ice time of the season this year. Let me pull up the right number here. DPD, Elias Pettersson, season high 13 minutes and 54 seconds of ice time today in the SHL. So good stuff there from DPD. It is really snowing, eh? So nice to see that. DPD, lots of minutes in the SHL. So that's good for the 18-year-old who's eligible 2 more years of World Juniors. Might even be this year of the World Juniors. So you might get a prospect still in the end. All right. There it is. Thank you, Alex.
Okay, let's go.
Betway. Someone in the chat said I'm always hitting the under. Betway. There's no chance I'm hitting the under on the Betway. You missed when you were counting, I'm pretty sure. All right, my Betway bets of the day: Vancouver Canucks and the over. But I like this bet lately. You bet for an outright win. Listen, things didn't work out yesterday. McDavid, you know what the worst part about that game yesterday was? So I'm watching the Oilers play yesterday. McDavid's got a goal after 40 minutes. I'm like, okay, maybe he'll score, right? Maybe he'll score. It'll be good to get that 2 so we can hit the bet yesterday. And how many damn scoring chances did McDavid get? He gets like 15 scoring chances in a period, and he didn't score in any of them in the third period. And then my fiance wants to go to bed, so I keep the door open, scratching her back, putting her to bed, the stuff that you do to your fiance, whatever. And then I keep the door open, so I hear the game in the other room. They're in overtime, 2-on-1. McDavid to Draisaitl, back to McDavid. He scores. I'm like, hell yeah, we hit the 2 goals. I come out and it said, he passed it back to Draisaitl at the end. Damn, play-by-play was wrong from the other room, so we didn't hit that bet. But feeling good about today. Canucks and the over at 5.5 total goals. They're going to hit that. That's going to be over that. And the Canucks win outright. This is kind of a toss-up between these 2 teams actually tonight over on Betway. So pick whichever team you want on this one. You go with the Canucks and the win without overtime and over 5.5 plus 230. And then I got Pettersson putting a power play point plus 115. Pettersson's playing really good hockey right now.
Okay.
Final thing. Let me get this in. Listener of the show, Speedy in New York City sent this photo in. He's listening to us in the Big Apple. Look at those buildings. They're so tall. That's really cool. That's out in New York City. Speedy, he's listening to us. Speedy, thanks for sending the photo. Appreciate it. Anyone, if you're ever listening, if you're listening to this right now on a podcast with your headphones, take a photo, DM me it on Twitter. It looks better than this. New York's looking pretty nice compared to what we're looking at today. Look at the blue skies out there in New York. I thought it was they had a smog up in the air there.
Yeah. Okay. 19 plus play over at Betway.
Play responsibly, please.
Okay, we're gonna close it out there. For my co-host Chris Faber and our technical producer Alex Lard, my name is Dave Quadrelli. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Canucks Conversation.
Snowing. It's snowing. See ya.
Thanks for listening to Canucks Conversation, delivered by DoorDash. Hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.
How about keep it to a thank you, Jim?